let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. Okay, we just had, certainly not the final brief, but in terms of our weather, the final briefing that we're going to need today in terms of what we need to do in Bay County. We do have, of course, a shelter open. A little over 50 people chose to take advantage of that opportunity. Obviously, you know, we didn't see anything like the devastation that has occurred in South Florida and Central Florida. So certainly thankful for that. When we talk about a shelter, I'd like everybody to remember that the American Red Cross stretched very, very thin, but were able to be there for us. Obviously, our school district and the Department of Health put that shelter together in concert with our staff, and everything went very well. And so really want to thank those agencies for being able to work so quickly. We do probably have some host people there, but we're not sure. So as we demobilize that shelter this afternoon, which we plan to do as soon as possible, if we have any host issues, we'll try to work those, you know, on a case-by-case basis. There may be, you know, room lodging and things like that out at our beach. There will be obviously some consolidation of other host shelters along I-10, and we want to do our part to make sure that if there are any needs that we meet those. There are going to be missions. Listening to the conference call we just heard, there are a lot of needs in South Florida, and so the teams that we have on standby, the USAR team with Panama City Fire Department, the hazmat team with Bay County, the task force that all the fire departments in the county put together, the law enforcement, which Sheriff Ford can talk to. We're going to be ready to deploy those wherever the need is, and you know, wherever we're asked to go. In terms of the bridges, 15-mile-an-hour sustained wind is what we have on the Hathaway Bridge right now. Our bridges our wind may get a little higher, but it is not going to get anywhere close to the 40-mile-an-hour threshold that we've talked about thus far. The wind profile forecast for the remainder of the day doesn't get above 30 miles an hour sustained, and it tapers off very rapidly this afternoon. So we don't foresee any issues there. Okay, and I'd like to introduce Congressman Dunn, who's been nice enough to join us today and say a few words.
I just want to say thank you to the staff and the leadership here at the EOC. They've done a terrific job getting Bay County ready for this. We have a lot of neighbors to the south and to the east that have had much more damage than we have had. So please keep them in your prayers. On the federal side, I will say that last Friday, Congress did appropriate $15 billion for hurricane relief. And I thank you again for everything that you've done. You know, the staff has just been great. We had a chance to listen to the reports from the South Florida, and you know, it's an important job that you're doing. Now I'm going to turn it over to the sheriff.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning. I'd like to thank everybody for their cooperation and planning on this storm. We worked closely with emergency services, local police departments, and other agencies in planning for this storm. We are certainly blessed that we didn't have any more effects that we did. I think we're probably, you know, getting to the point where conditions are going to start to improve in the next couple of hours. But we did have some devastating impacts from this storm in other areas of the state, and certainly, you know, our thoughts and prayers are with them. We just got off of a conference call, statewide conference call, and there are areas of this state that were significantly impacted. We stand ready to assist those areas, working with the Florida Sheriff's Association Task Force. We have a team of deputies prepared to deploy as soon as a mission is assigned, so we'll be working on that. And also, I think that the fire departments and EMS also have teams prepared as well. But you know, I think this was a good example of the way to prepare for a storm like this. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Has there been any fatalities or serious injuries in Bay County from the storm?
Not storm related, no. There was, I think, a bicyclist hit last night in Panama City, but I'm not aware of that being directly related.
What would you say to people, like right now, to do is stay safe, stay off the roads if need be?
Yeah, I think, you know, we still got some squall conditions out there, so I think if you can stay off the roads, that's best right now. would like to say we've got a lot of evacuees and visitors in Bay County right now. The surf conditions are still bad. We're at double red flags. We're expecting as the winds shift for that to continue. At the double red flag conditions, we'll have additional personnel out there to work our surf rescue along with Bay County and Panama City Beach Lifeguard Services and the police department. So if it is double red flags, that means to stay out of the water, still dangerous conditions on that. All right, any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes,
Did
sir.
you all get any more reports about downed trees or anything, power outages?
We have had down trees. We've had to clear some roadways, and there are some power outage, but that is isolated and not widespread.
Have we had any surges yet?
Any surge?
And any like storm surges?
No,
Like the water?
just minimal.
No. Okay.
And do we think that businesses and everything will kind of reopen again tomorrow, or what?
Well, my understanding is that schools are closed tomorrow by order of the governor. I think you will see businesses start opening up tomorrow. May have some increased openings as weather conditions improve today, but pay attention to social media and local media outlets. I'm sure y'all will be pushing that information out on businesses as they open up, especially critical businesses.
We have some people on Facebook that are asking when the worst of the weather is going to be over and when they can start going back out. Instead, when it will be safe. They're asking about that.
The wind profile, which is just the forecast, shows 4 p.m. as being the time when we're going to drop below 20 mile an hour sustained winds. But as the sheriff mentioned, we've still got rain. We've got a lot of people in our county that aren't familiar with the location. So I think if people have their supplies and can stay indoors, that's certainly what I would do today if I could. There are, it's sporadic, but there are places open. There are some pharmacies open. There are some places open if people have, critical needs that they need to address. But this is it's just not going to be a great day. It's going to rain. We're going to have some more rain tomorrow, we're told, and it's quite windy. So knowing that there are trees down and there may be power line issues, there may be delays out on the roadway and things like that. So if it was up to me, I would stay home.
Is the EOC dialing back now?
We went to level 2 to support the shelter, and so once the shelter is demobilized and closed, then we'll go back to level 3, which is our normal operation.
When you look back on this, how would you describe how this went for Bay County? It seems like obviously Bay County was fortunate. There was dry weather that came down.
Yeah, obviously, my first thought is to thank the good Lord and thank Mother Nature, because that, this thing was so big and powerful. When you hear some of those other counties, it's heartbreaking. And so we're very, very fortunate that storm didn't, come closer this direction. We're also very fortunate that people were at a heightened sense of, of urgency, because they went out and got water. They went out and fueled their cars. They went out and did all the things that we ask everybody to do in May for hurricane season. So I think a lot of people took advantage and made themselves a hurricane kit. We are just now at the peak of hurricane season, and so this is the busiest time when we see those waves coming off of Africa, and there's 2 more behind Jose, and so far it looks like there's not going to be any major issues from those, but we're going to keep seeing those. And the Weather Service has told us that because of the conditions in that area of development, that we see these waves come across, that we could well have another storm of this magnitude. So everybody needs to remain vigilant and be prepared. Any other questions for anybody? Well, I also want to thank the news media. You guys have been great, and people should tune in to their local news station and the local paper to find out what's going on here. That's the best way to get local information, and of course through their social media and our social media. And please, please, please sign up for Alert Bay. That's one of the best things you can do to keep yourself safe.
Do you expect this to be the last press conference?
For today, I would have to depend on my PIO to say that, but I believe so. As you know, we're always available, and
Right.
you know, there may be, like I say, host sheltering thing. We don't know what is going to be needed of us, and so as that happens, we'll keep the media informed, you know, like we always do, and we'll certainly be available. Okay, thank you again.
Great job.
I don't know, board hearing?